The final day of the Championship season is just under 24 hours away, and it does not get much bigger than this for Wrexham Football Club. There is all to play for. There's 3 teams fighting for that final playoff spot. All I will say is before tomorrow, prepare to go through a roller coaster of emotions for the 94 minutes across all 3 games, because 1 minute you could be ecstatic, you could think Wrexham are going to get that final playoff spot, Hull could score, Derby could score, and then you'll be biting your fingernails and hoping that results go our way. It's going to be one hell of a final day of the season, and one that I'm sure the neutrals will be looking at this and absolutely loving, because it is what football is all about. We love the drama. Whether Wrexham finish inside the playoffs or not, it's going to be an incredible last day of the season. So today we are going to be having a look at our opponents, Middlesbrough, why they've still got a lot to play for in the final game of the season, what we can expect from them, Wrexham as well, what will secure us a playoff spot tomorrow against Middlesbrough. I'm also going to be looking, do I think Wrexham will get that final 6th place spot? There's a lot to talk about. Make sure to drop a like on today's video if you did enjoy. Make sure to hype it as well. I think it's next to the comment section, and subscribe. Turn the notification bell on, because I've finished my first year of university. It's gone completely quick, but for the channel that means plenty of content to come out over the next couple of months, so you'll not want to miss that. Enough of the self-promotion. Let's get having a look first on our opponents, Middlesbrough, and why something magical could happen for them tomorrow. In all of the nerves for the Wrexham fans, and of course rightly so, we're going to be concentrating on our own team, but I think some fans are forgetting tomorrow our opponents can secure automatic promotion to the Premier League if results go their way. Like 6th place, there's 3 teams fighting for that automatic promotion spot. Ipswich currently sits 2nd on 81 points, Millwall sit 3rd on 80, and Middlesbrough sit 4th on 79. Although looking at the table, it seems unlikely for Middlesbrough, because all it takes is Ipswich to get a point at home. But if Middlesbrough win and Ipswich and Millwall both lose, then Middlesbrough will be victorious in North Wales and will be having a really good night up in North Wales if they get that promotion to the Premier League. But the thing is with Middlesbrough, I think it's important to note, is there's no pressure on them. Yes, they were in the automatics for a large portion of the season. Now in the final game, there's no pressure for them to continue to keep that 2nd spot over the other teams, Ipswich and Millwall. They're just going to go out there and think, we have a shot of getting automatic promotion, so why not go out for 94, 95 minutes, give a 10 out of 10 performance, give everything we've got, and see what happens elsewhere. If they can put in that good performance, that's all they can do. Likewise with Wrexham, and if they're hoping that other results go their way, then they could get a magical day on the final day of the season. But I think where Middlesbrough is, they haven't really helped themselves. They've hit a really bad patch of form of late, bar their last game at home to Watford. 1 win in their last 8 league games has taken them from strong automatic promotion candidates to likely competing in the playoffs in a week's time. But we saw a glimpse of the form that they were on earlier on in the campaign with an emphatic 5-1 victory over Watford on the weekend. Yes, it's a very poor Watford side, but I think it does just show the team that Middlesbrough can be, especially in the final third. They can be ruthless on their day. If they get 1 goal, that 1 goal will turn into 2. That will turn into 3. So we need to make sure that we're really frustrating Middlesbrough going forward. They've got some good quality in that forward line. Morgan Whittaker scored for fun this season, Tommy Conway as well. So we need to stay compact, frustrate them, and just really limit any shots they do get on goal. And I've no doubt in my mind that Dan Scarr, Dom Hyam and Callum Doyle will shut them out. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that front. If we can keep a clean sheet, that would be absolutely brilliant. So speaking on our side of things, all we can do tomorrow as a Wrexham fan is just win the game of football. I think we can all agree on that. If we win the game of football and still end up outside the playoffs, I don't think we can really have any complaints, because we're coming up against a really tough team, the toughest team out of the 3 that are competing for that final 6th spot. And if we do what we've done 10 times this season at the Racecourse Ground, which is win that game, then I have a very good feeling that Wrexham could finish inside the playoffs come 2:30, 3 o'clock tomorrow. There's a lot of ifs and buts, but let's take a look at how the table looks going into the final day and how Wrexham can secure that 6th place. So the table does stand. Wrexham are 6th on 70 points with a +4 goal difference. Hull are 7th on 70 points and a +3 goal difference. Derby are 8th on 69 points with a +9 goal difference. There's no possible way at this moment in time to call who is going to finish where in that table, because there's so many different outcomes that could happen tomorrow based on results. Us and Hull could lose, and if Derby draw, they'll finish 6th. Despite us being 1 point ahead of them, we'll all finish level on 70 points if Derby do draw and we both lose, but Derby would pip it ahead of us on goal difference. That is how tight it is at the top end of the table. Hull could lose and still leapfrog Wrexham. If we lose and Hull lose, Hull could still somehow go above us on goal difference. It is going to be very nerve-wracking, and if it does come down to us and Hull, it is going to go down to goals. If it's both teams that are drawing in the final minutes of the game, it is going to be who will finish inside that 6th spot. Whether it'll be 1 goal or 2 goals, it is just going to be the finest of margins that are going to separate these teams in the running, and especially in the 90 minutes tomorrow. But as we've seen in recent years, I think it's really important to note, being a Wrexham fan for however long I can remember, going to my first game in 2012, in recent years, we've seen a completely different Wrexham team. We've seen a Wrexham team revived. In those years before the takeover, there wasn't really much to celebrate. We had the FA Trophy win, we had the odd playoff campaign, but in recent years at Wrexham, there seems to be the DNA in the club, especially under Phil Parkinson, that we just really do thrive in the big occasions and the big games. We're looking at Notts County 3-2 to pip them to the National League title, to then follow on and come from behind against Boreham Wood to secure the title in really incredible fashion. Forest Green 6-0 to finish second in League 2 to get automatic promotion. Charlton a year ago battering them 3-0 on home soil. We can do it. If Wrexham Football Club are going to do it tomorrow, we need to make sure the atmosphere is on it from the first minute and make it one that the players can absolutely thrive off, because as we know, Phil Parkinson has cried out all throughout the season to make the racecourse ground bouncing for the players, because they do thrive off it. And if we just get behind them from minute 1 to minute 94, all we can do is rely on the players to put in a really good performance, because we know us in the stands, the 12th man, have done our job. There's so many different outcomes and it is impossible to call, but what I do think is, if Wrexham are to win tomorrow, no matter what happens elsewhere, I do believe that we do get that 6th place. It's a big ask beating Middlesbrough at home, because again, I think they've got the 3rd best away form in the league, so it is going to be so tight. But in recent years, you know, the Charlton game, the Forest Green game, I've been sort of nervous, but I'm excited. I'm really excited for tomorrow, because I think it's more of the fact that there was absolutely no expectations of Wrexham being where we are this season. There was no one in this fan base thought Wrexham would be competing in the Championship playoffs, given the calibre of teams that we have seen in the Championship over recent years, and especially this season. We'll get talking about it later on in the video, but I think it's the fact that we should just be excited. This is a really big challenge. This is a big challenge for this new group of players to set them up for next season, the season after. Let's see if they can pull through. And us in the stands as the fans can just be really excited, because the prospect of what could happen if we win is really exciting. And then if it does get to the playoff semi-final, second leg and the final, maybe I'll be a bit more nervous. But for this game, I do think it's a free hit for Wrexham, and if we win, then something magical could be happening in North Wales in the next coming weeks. So speaking on the game itself for Wrexham, there is some massive injury news, and I will put emphasis on the word massive, because we have seen the return of midfielder Ben Sheaf. He'll be available for selection after making a quicker than expected recovery from his ligament injury, which he did sustain about 2.5 months ago. It was expected he'd be out for 10 weeks, but Phil Parkinson has confirmed that as long as nothing happens in the week building up to this Middlesbrough game, which now at the time of recording is Friday, we've heard nothing on Ben Sheaf, so that's a good thing. He's likely to be available for selection tomorrow against Middlesbrough, so having him back in the midfield, whether he starts on the off or whether he starts on the bench, it's so good to have him back. And if I was Phil Parkinson, it's the last game of the season, I would just chuck him in there, because he's been such a big player for us. If he's fully fit, don't start him on the bench, get him straight back in, because he is a game changer in that midfield for us. And as we saw last weekend as well, Kakachi returned back to full fitness and returned back to the matchday squad for Wrexham, and there's a very good chance that he will feature in some aspect tomorrow against Middlesbrough. Whether it's a start, whether we look to push George Thomason back in midfield, I really don't know, but at this moment in time, it's very hard to drop George Thomason. But I think looking on both Kakachi and Ben Sheaf, combine their starts together in the Championship this year, there's only 32 between them, but given the impact they've had in those portion of games that they've played, it is so effective, and it shows that they are two big game players and they're both back for a very big game, and let's hope they can get in that starting 11 and have a big impact and help us get that 6th place spot. So capping off the video, my final words before tomorrow is, no matter what happens tomorrow against Middlesbrough, this has been a season where we've hugely exceeded expectations. League 1, you expected us to maybe push for playoffs, we got automatic promotion. League 2, you expected us to be in the top end of the table. National League, you expected us to at least go up in some way, shape or form, but this is a big league. This is one of the most competitive leagues in the world, and at Wrexham's first time of asking, we've gone out there and we've been so consistent all throughout the season with a squad, yes, who spent a lot of money, but like Phil Parkinson said, this is a club that has no training ground, not real infrastructure behind the scenes in terms of academy, where a lot of clubs just can produce players from their academy. You know, most of their squads have 3-4 academy graduates. Wrexham have had to go from scratch and have had to build a completely new squad that would be competitive. I think an achievement for Wrexham this year would have been a mid-table position, but to be in the top end of the table and finishing above 13 former Premier League sides in our first season in Championship football is absolutely incredible. Like I said, the consistency from Phil Parkinson's men is some achievement and something that everyone involved in the club, the players, the staff, the fans, etc., should be really proud of, because like I said, we've exceeded expectations hugely, and let's see if we can get that magical finish in a month's time and be in the Premier League. It's a big ask at this moment in time, but why not dream of that? Why not dream of being in the Premier League next year? What a season it's been for Wrexham Football Club. There'll be a full review on the channel after tomorrow's game against Middlesbrough. Whether we finish in the playoffs or not, it will be coming your way on the channel. So let me know your score predictions for the game tomorrow against Middlesbrough. Enough of the waffle. Let's let the players do the talking and do the actions on the pitch tomorrow that will hopefully get us inside that playoff spot. Until the next video, take care guys, make sure to drop a like, make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button, and until the next one, up the Championship Reds.